Hello class, so this is our second lecture video for ITMS 02, and for this video lesson, we'll be covering systems of linear equations in two variables. So ano ba expected na matututunan natin for this lesson? So basically, the discussion will end up reviewing the definition and kinds of systems of linear equations in two variables and solutions of systems of linear equations. Essentially, for this lesson, mare-review kayo on how to solve for the values of x and y sa systems of linear equations. So ano nga ba yung tinatawag nating system of equations or systems of equations? A system of equations, or sometimes we call it as simultaneous equations, is a set of two or more equations with the same variables. So in this case, because two variables ang concern natin, we'll be dealing with variables x and y. And the system is of the form, this one, yung general form natin ng linear equations in two variables as discussed previously. Then, ito, where A, B, C, D, E, and F are constants. Ano naman yung tinatawag nating solution or root of the system? These are actually the answers dun sa ating equations. These are the values ng ating unknowns or the ordered pair as we call it, which satisfies both the equations. So, ibig sabihin, these are the values of x and y, satisfying the equations that we have dun sa ating system. Now, we can classify a system into three. Pwede siyang consistent, inconsistent, or dependent, which is all actually dependent on the nature of its roots. Kailan ba natin matatawag na consistent ang isang system? Consistent ang ating system if we have a unique solution. When we say unique, isang set lang yung sagot. And its graph is composed of intersecting lines. Paano naman nagiging inconsistent yung ating system? If wala tayong solution, walang existing na solution for both linear equations. So, ang graphical representation niyan ay parallel lines. Paano naman nagiging dependent? Magiging dependent if marami tayong sagot para sa dalawang equations natin na nasa system. So if it has infinitely many solutions, then the system we have is dependent, and it is represented by coinciding lines. To better visualize, here it is. Kapag sinabing consistent, we have two equations or two lines right here na nag-intersect sa isang point. Yung point of intersection na yan, this one, is what you call your solution. This is the set of ordered pair na nasa-satisfy both the equations, okay, represented by these lines. Kaya siya unique solution dahil sa isang point lang siya nag-intersect. Now, inconsistent. Inconsistent if no solution. If you look closely dito sa ating lines, these are parallel lines, wala silang point of intersection. And for all we know sa geometry, di ba, ang parallel lines will never meet. Now, so ibig sabihin, it tries to imply na mutually exclusive yung sagot ng equation representing this line and this line. Wala silang point of intersection. Lastly, dependent system of linear equations. Paano nagiging dependent? Nagiging dependent if you look closely right here, we have two overlapping lines, right? So, ibig sabihin, the one represented by this equation, or by this line, rather, the linear equation represented by this line, and this one, they have the same set of solutions. Kung ano man yung sagot ng isa, yun din yung sagot ng isa, and that infinitely many solution, kasi lahat ng points na dadaanan ng dalawang linyang ito, yun lahat ang sagot. Those are all the set of answer na makakasatisfy dun sa dalawang equations natin. Paano ba natin malalaman kung ano yung mga solution ng ating linear equations? So we have two ways of determining such. First, we have the graphical method. Sa previous na lecture video, pinakita natin kung paano nag-graph. Ang kagandahan ng graphical method is that it provides us a glimpse of the nature of the solution. Meaning, pwede nating makita kung sila ay consistent, inconsistent, or dependent. Depende sa itsura ng ating mga graph. However, hindi accurate at times yung ating graphical method, especially when we're dealing with coordinates na non-integer. Meaning, pag non-integer, these are fractions, decimals. Nako-compromise yung accuracy ng ating sagot sa graphical method. That's why we have another method called the algebraic solution. Well, this is an analytical way of solving for the values of x and y na magsasatisfy sa dalawang equations na meron tayo dito sa ating system. So we have four methods or four ways of carrying out algebraic solution. One is the substitution technique, another is the comparison, another is the elimination, and lastly is what we call the Cramer's rule. We make use of determinants sa ating Cramer's rule. So isa-isahin natin yan. So unahin na natin yung ating substitution technique or substitution method. So these are the steps. Ito yung outlined na steps natin. So guide nyo lang ito. This is a general guide on how to carry out substitution method. So as we go through the examples, may iisa-isa natin ta. So let's now proceed sa ating first example for substitution method. So we have the following system of equations: 2x minus y equals 3 and 4x minus 2y equals 6. The main concept behind the substitution method is we try to express one variable over the other. Say, if we express variable x in terms of y, or we express variable y in terms of x. So meaning we have to transform one of these equations right here, no? One of these equations in terms of the variable y or in terms of the variable x. So, papaano? So, we have the first step. Ang sabi, solve the equation for one variable in terms of the other variable. So, you just have to choose between this one or this one. And in this case, ginamit natin or kinonsider natin na equation para i-transform, para i-express natin in terms of the other variable is itong 2x minus y equals 3. So we expressed this equation in terms of the variable x. Transform natin siya such that y is a function or is an equation in terms of the variable x. Now that we have done this, we can readily substitute this expression na 2x minus 3 dun sa variable na y dito sa pangalawang equation. Hindi nyo po pwedeng i-substitute ito dun sa naunang equation kasi ito yung pinanggalingan. Ipapalit nyo na ito ngayon dun sa equation na hindi nyo pa nagagalaw, which in this case ay itong 4x minus 2y equals 6. That's why, yung 4x minus 2y equals 6 natin, nung sinut or nung sinubstitute natin itong expression na 2x minus 3 papunta dito, kay y, ito yung lumabas. After doing so, syempre, you have to simplify yung ating equation na na-form. Itong 4x minus 2, quantity 2x minus 3 equals 6. So if we try to simplify this one, we'll get 4x minus 4x plus 6 equals 6. And what will be left is this one. Kapag isinimplify nyo pa yan, ito. 6 equals 6. You may ask or you might wonder, wala naman po tayo na-solve na value ng x or ng y. The thing is, ini-imply nito dahil 6 equals 6, since this is always true, kasi kahit pagbalik-baliktarin mo ang mundo, ang 6 ay laging 6, right? This merely implies, no, whatever ordered pair x, y, ang isubstitute natin dito sa ating, say, any of these equations, as long as masasatisfy niya itong equation na to, or ito nasa ilalim, kapag yung specific na ordered pair na nakita or ginamit ninyo ay nasatisfy itong unang equation, automatic na masasatisfy na rin niya yung pangalawang equation na meron tayo. Or the other way around, if meron tayong ordered pair xy, tapos sinubstitute natin dito, provided na nasatisfy niya itong equation na pangalawa, nasatisfy niya yan, kapag nangyari yon, automatic na itong ordered pair na to, masasatisfy niya na rin itong una. Yun yung implication nito kung bakit wala tayong nakuhang values for x and y. Because we have a system that has infinitely many solutions. So meaning, dependent yung ating dalawang equations. Okay? That's why our solution set can be expressed as a solution set S containing the ordered pair xy such that this ordered pair satisfies 2x minus y equals 3. Alternatively, we can have a solution set S containing the variables or containing the ordered pair xy such that this ordered pair satisfies 4x minus 2y equals 6. Yun yung interpretation dun sa result na nakuha natin. Next example. So we have another system of equations. 2x minus 3y equals 3 and 3x plus 2y equals negative 1. Nasa substitution method pa rin tayo ha. So following those steps na in-outline natin sa una, so the same concept will be used. Mamimili ka lang dito sa dalawang equations na meron sa atin. Then ita-transform mo say y in terms of x or x in terms of y. So in this case, yung naunang equation natin na 2x minus 3y equals 3, yun yung transform natin such that si variable y natin magiging in terms of the variable x. That's why we ended up with y equals 2/3 x minus 1. So transform lang po natin itong equation na ito in order to get this equation. Then step 2, dahil nakakuha na tayo ng equation ng y in terms of x, we can solve or we can already plug this expression papunta dun kay y, dun sa pangalawang equation natin. So if we do so, yung 3x plus 2y equals negative 1, kapag isinalpak na natin ito dito, we'll end up with this equation right here. And of course, we have to simplify that and perform the indicated operations. No? So if we try to simplify that, we have 3x plus 4x over 3 minus 1 equals, that should be minus 2, equals negative 1. And further simplification will yield us ng answer na x equals 3 over 13. Now that we have arrived with a value of x, ano pa ba yung kulang sa atin? Of course, the value of y. Ngayon at may nakuha na tayong value ng x, plug the value x equals 3 over 13 dito, dito, or dito. Alin man dyan sa tatlong yan. However, it is advisable or it is preferred na dito na tayo sa part na to sa substitute ng value ng x. Why? Kasi kapag sinubstitute nyo tapos pag pinerform yung indicated operation, automatic na ang makukuha nyo na agad na sagot dito ay value na agad ng y. Unlike dito, kung dito nyo pa isa-substitute sa dalawang ito, medyo marami-rami pa kayong pagdadaanan bago nyo makuha yung value ng y. Pero you should still end up with the same answer. Solving for the value of y, kapag pinasok nyo na yung value ng x dito, you will end up with this equation right here. And if you perform the indicated operation, you'll get a value of y that is equal to negative 11 over 13. So hence, we have the solution 3 over 13, negative 11 over 13. So this is a unique solution. So we have a consistent system of linear equation, considering na ito yung ating given. So I hope that's clear. Ganun lang kine-carry out yung ating substitution method. So you just have to express muna any of these two in terms of the variable x or y, kung alin man ang mas convenient sa inyo. Then, after you obtain an expression or an equation relating variable y with variable x or vice versa, isa-substitute nyo na yun ngayon dun sa another equation na kapartner nung kung alin man yung transform ninyo. Then you solve for whatever variable na maiiwan sa inyo after substituting the expression found in step 1. Then, kung ano man yung variable na or kung ano man yung value na nakuha nyo, i-substitute nyo yun ulit dun sa equation na nakuha ninyo sa step 1. After doing so, you'll find na yung ordered pair na, if there is any na ordered pair. So, let's now proceed sa comparison method. Dito, similar sa substitution, yung ating technique or yung concept. The thing is, di ba kanina, isa-isa lang dito. Kahit alin lang dito sa equation na to, yung gagalawin ninyo. Sa comparison, parehas na equation na ang gagalawin ninyo. So, these are the steps outlined na. So, iisa-isahin natin yan. Let's proceed with the example. The following system of equations, 3x plus 5y equals 3 and x plus 4y equals 8. If we follow the steps in comparison method, so una, solve both of the equation for the same variable in terms of the other variables. So, ibig sabihin, pwede nyong gawing x in terms of y or y in terms of x. Ganon din dito. Kasi nga, parehas nyo nang gagalawin yan or ita-transform. Now, dito, ang nangyari, transform natin itong dalawang equations na to such that si variable y ang may iwan sa left and i-express natin si variable y in terms of the variable x naman. After transforming this first equation of 3x plus 5y equals 3, we're left with y equals negative 3x over 5 plus 3/5. Then, itong pangalawa, yung x plus 4y equals 8, transform natin into y equals negative x over 4 plus 2. Okay? Make sure na kapag nagta-transform kayo, ay magkamukha yung itsura. Kung halimbawa, y yung naandito, kailangan yung kabila, y din yung naandito. Y lang. Hindi po pwedeng nag-y ka rito, pero ang ginawa mo rito sa kabila, x yung iniwan mo dito sa isang side. Hindi po pwede yon. Step 2. Compare the two found equations to obtain an equation of one variable. Now, ito na establish nating equations, right? From this one, we can safely say that these two expressions are equal with each other. Paano natin nasabi yon? Because parehas silang equal sa y, right? We can safely assume that they are both equal to y, kaya pwede natin silang i-equate. Then by doing so, if pwede natin silang i-equate, ito yung makikreate nating equation after doing that. So negative 3x over 5 plus 3/5 is equal to negative x over 4 plus 2. So nakuha na natin yung target natin na kailangan isang variable lang ang nakikita natin sa buong equation na to. And it so happened na itong equation natin, anong variable yan na natira? It's the variable x. X na lang. So, ibig sabihin, when we are going to simplify this one, we will end up with an answer, no, for the value of x. So, if we solve the equation obtained right here, ayan, we will end up with the value of x is equal to negative 4. Ayan. So, ano na lang to, arithmetic na lang ito. You'll end up with this answer, x equals negative 4. Now that you have found the value of x, ano pa yung kulang sa atin? Of course, the value of y. Ngayon at meron na kayong value ng x, you can readily solve for the value of y. Ngayon, ang step 4 kasi natin, back substitute the solution from step 3 to either of the expressions obtained in step 1. So, ibig sabihin, itong value ng x equals negative 4, pwede nating isubstitute to any of these two in order to get the value of y. Okay? Kahit alin dito sa dalawa, pwedeng itong nauna or pwede itong pangalawa. Depende na lang sa inyo kung alin yung mas convenient or mas madali ang pagsosolve. So in this case, ang pinili natin na equation na gagamitin to solve for the value of y is yung pangalawa. This one. By doing so, kung ipapasok na natin yung x equals negative 4, yung value na negative 4 dito sa x dito, you'll have this equation right here. Then, performing the indicated operation will give you a value of y na 3. So, therefore, we have the solution negative 4, 3. So, this, again, it's a unique solution. So, we have a consistent na system. Okay? So, yun ang comparison method. Ngayon, ulitin lang, magkaiba yung substitution sa comparison. Although, same sila ng concept na ginagamit, pero ang pagkakaiba kasi nila sa substitution, ang tinatransform mo lang ay alinman dito sa dalawa. Whereas sa comparison naman kasi, ang tinatransform mo ay parehas na equation. Then, i-relate mo yung whatever na equation mahahanap ninyo by equating these two expressions. So, I hope that clears up yung difference ng comparison sa substitution method. We're done with the comparison method. Let's now proceed sa elimination method. From the term itself, elimination, so we're trying to get rid of any of the two variables in order for us to solve for just one muna. Okay? Kung halimbawa, ang gusto nyo unahin na isolve ay yung variable na y, di kailangan tanggalin nyo muna to. Hindi nyo muna sila isasama. Then you can readily solve for the value of y. Or vice versa. Okay? Hindi nyo basta-basta i-eliminate yung variable na gusto nyo tanggalin. Okay? May process tayong susundan. Here are the steps sa outlined na. So we're going to follow this one dun sa examples or example natin for this lesson or for this video lesson. Let's proceed. If we have the system of equation containing x plus y equals 1 and 4x minus y equals negative 11. Ayan. So, if we follow the steps dun sa ating elimination method, ano nga yung concept behind elimination method? May gusto ka munang i-eliminate na variable para mas madali nating ma-solve yung mga unknown natin. So, ganito. Sabi sa step 1, satisfy the condition where a is equal to positive or negative d or b is equal to positive negative e for the coefficients of x and y by multiplying all terms of one or both equations by suitable constants. So, ibig sabihin, maghahanap ka ng constant na suitable para ma-carry out mo yung elimination method. So, in this case, i-inspect nyo rin muna itong dalawang equations natin kung meron bang variable na pwede agad ma-eliminate using addition or subtraction ng dalawang equations. If we try to add these two, i-analyze nyo. If we try to add these two equations ba, meron ba tayong matatanggal agad? Actually, meron. Because itong si positive y, ang kanyang numerical coefficient ay 1, right? Itong negative y, ang numerical coefficient niya is negative 1. Diba? So, if we try to add positive 1, with negative 1, ang lalabas dyan ay 0. Right? So, ibig sabihin, mawawala agad to. So, we're left with the variable x. So, we can readily solve for the value of x. Okay? So, ganon. I-assess nyo muna. Okay? Huwag kayong basta banat ng banat. So, kailangan i-assess nyo muna. And if you came up with that analysis, you can proceed with the elimination method. So, yun na nga. Step 2, add or subtract the equation to eliminate one variable and solve the resulting equation. So, ganito. Yung binanggit ko kanina, pag i-add natin itong dalawang equation na to, ang unang mawawalang variable sa atin ay yung y. Magzi-zero out yan. Okay? Then, let's try to proceed with the addition of the rest of the equation. So x plus 4x will give you 5x. Then 1 plus negative 11 will give you, actually this should be negative 10. I apologize for the error. This answer should be negative 10. If 5x is equal to negative 10, using the rules of algebra, the value of x is negative 2. Now that we were able to identify or solve for the value of x, and in this case, ang value ng x ay negative 2, we'll perform step 3. We need to back substitute in order to solve for the remaining variable. And in this case, ang remaining variable natin ay variable y. Right? So, alin dito? Saan kayo magbaback substitute? Actually, kahit alin dito sa dalawang equation, kahit alin dun sa dalawang given natin, kahit alin dito. Dahil alam nating x is negative 2, ginamit natin yung unang equation natin, yung pinakamadali, which is x plus y equals 1. I-plug in natin dito yung value ng x, which is negative 2. So, we'll have, should be negative 2, no? Negative 2. We'll have a value of y na positive 3. So, ang value natin, so ang solution ng ating system is negative 2, positive 3. Negative 2, positive 3.